Hey guys, as you know, I'm being a bum. If you watched yesterday's video, sorry I was so long-winded. I just jumped on and I'm like, oh, I'll answer some more questions. That'll be like a good way to spend my time. And I'm going in between two right out of the gate. And I think it's going to be, I decided just a second. I think this one's going to be the one I answer. So it's, how did you get your boys to eat all types of food and not be fussy, or are they because it doesn't look like they are? And where do you get your recipes from, or how do you figure out what to cook each day? What do you buy in your groceries video? Could you do a video on that whole subject in itself? It's so funny, I didn't even finish reading this question. I just got, how do you get your boys to eat all the different types of food? And, okay, so first of all, I don't know how to, don't take this the wrong way. Some personal people just take this so wrong. But I feel like, if you followed my journey, you know that before I had Deacon, we ate like crap. I mean crap. And if those videos are still up. So you can go and you can look at those and, it was bad. So an example of dinner, and this video is up there, is chicken parmesan with like huge helpings of like pasta, and then fried chicken with cheese and marinara, and don't get me wrong, I still eat that, but that along with like the Pillsbury breadsticks, and what else? I don't even think that there was salad. Something else that I made all the time, and my friend who's living with me now, her and I joke about it because we would make this all the time. She was like, that's like the staple at your house. Like, we came to your house to eat that, and that was cream of mushroom soup with egg noodles and canned green beans. Oh, and cheese. That was what we ate. I ate so much cream of mushroom soup, it was unbelievable, and now I don't buy it at all. So, for us to eat good, it was natural evolution. And what had happened, and this is even when I was nursing Deacon, and I didn't really think about it, but I wasn't eating that great then either. And it was after I had him, and I realized that he's going to start eating, and I'm like, I will not feed my baby any of the stuff that we're eating. Like, I will look at our dinner plate, and I would think, there is nothing on this plate that I'm comfortable feeding my child. So I would be buying, and this, I'm telling you guys, this is all on my channel. I would be buying random, like, all this produce. I'd be going to, like, Whole Foods and picking out, like, the best produce imaginable and making baby food out of it. Neither of my kids ever had commercial baby food ever. Not that it's a bad thing. I just never did. I don't think it would actually really affect them. I'm just saying, like, this is what I did. So I made this for them, and I became very, very, very determined to feed my kids well and to give their bodies the best chance that they can. By default, they are fantastic eaters. And I think it's just because they didn't eat. Bad food was not an option for them. It's not like a kid can't only eat chicken nuggets, corn dogs, mac and cheese, and nothing else if they're not given that as an option. Does that make sense? So there's probably a delicacy on the other side of the world that if I had it, and I'm thinking like chocolate crepes from France, or I don't know, chocolate croissants or something, if I had it from there, it would be like the only thing that I'd want to eat, and I would crave that, and I would want that, and it would be that thing, but I've never had it. So it's like, I don't crave it. And if I did have it, it would be a treat, and it would be a treat that is given to me as a very rare occasion type thing. So it's kind of, I think that's the best way I can compare it. If it's not an option, if I don't have, I have chicken nuggets in my freezer right now, bad example, but if I didn't have like just chicken nuggets and all these things, then they can't want them, or they can't want them. Oh my gosh, my kids say that. They won't want them. And I'm constantly like, don't say that. They will not want them if they're not, you know what I mean? They cannot, I don't even know what I'm saying. It's too late. It's too late to make this video. Anyways, they won't want what isn't there. Does that even make sense? I'm going to watch this back tomorrow and be like, what? I swear, I'm just tired, and it's hot in here. But I'm like by myself kind of tonight. I have Drake, Deacon's with my parents, so I'm kind of like just hanging out. Anyways, so this is how I've done it. I haven't given the other things an option. We eat salad. They see me eat salad. They don't see me be picky. They see me try new things. I am very encouraging of them trying new things. And fortunately they do, and it's kind of nice. And every once in a while, you know, one of them will be picky for a meal, but they get over it, and, you know, and life moves on. Now, Deacon, I really struggled, and you guys probably remember this, the beginning of the school year with Deacon and his lunches, because he got made fun of, he didn't want to eat things, he was bringing home some of his favorite vegetables and things like that. And like lately, if you've been watching my lunch videos, they're like mostly vegetables and fruit. And the reason for that is because that's what he's decided, like that is what he truly likes. The reason I chose to answer this question today is because we went on a field trip to a candy company of all places, but we did go there, and I was sitting down on the bench, and it was Drake, and then he got up and he was pouting, and he was against the wall, and then me, and then Deacon, and I had picked up some sub sandwiches, but Deacon had his lunch, and she came down and she sat down beside me, and she's like, you know, I just have to tell you. And it's like, when your son's teacher does that, you're just like, what do you got to tell me? Like, like, what is it that you're gonna tell me? Is it good? Is it bad? Like, what? And she's like, I just have to tell you that Deacon has the best lunches I've ever seen. And I'm just like, really? Like, really? She's like, he just has so many fresh options all the time. And she's like, it's just amazing that you have those options for him at your house, and that, you know, he's given these choices to eat, and that he eats them, and everything else. She's like, because everything else is prepackaged. And then she told me, she's like, I admire you. You are my inspiration. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's gonna make me cry. Like, seriously, Molly, this is so silly. Why do I care so much about food? So anyway, she says this to me, and I'm just like floored by it. And I couldn't even believe that. I'm like, thank you, you know? It is what it is. And I think a lot of it too is there will be times where my kids, they get through phases. And you probably see this too. I think the most common one, like that we can all relate to, is like bananas. Like one week you'll buy a bunch of bananas and they're gone in 2 days. The next week you'll buy a bunch of bananas and they turn brown. You know what I mean? Like they like ebb and flow. Like there's weeks where they like something and there's weeks that they don't. Sometimes with kids it stretches longer than that. Deacon had about a 6-month span where he wanted nothing to do with avocados, unless it was in the form of guacamole, which, I mean, whatever. But he wanted nothing to do with avocados. And now I'm buying avocados and they are splitting them in half and they're just eating avocados as like a snack, both of them. So, you know, you gotta just keep trying. And just because they say, like right now Drake doesn't like tomatoes. And even though Drake doesn't like tomatoes, I know that that's gonna change. And I think it's gonna change as soon as my cherry tomato plants are blooming and producing fruit. But you have to stick with it, and you have to keep encouraging it. You have to have them, you know, have them see you eating these things. Because how often do we sit down to eat dinner and they want what's on your plate? So you need to be making those healthy choices too, and you need to be eating those things that you want your children to eat. You can't expect your kids to eat, you know, the salad and the carrots if you're eating like chicken wings and pizza. Do you know what I mean? Like you have to set that example, and that's another reason why I'm not going to get all Beachbody on you guys, but if you are interested in Beachbody, so any of the workouts or the nutrition plans or something like that, just email me so we can talk about it. And my email is below. It's CandidMommy@yahoo. But that is why I love Beachbody so much and working out. So many people say, I can't work out because my kids are in the way, I need to be with my kids, I need to watch my kids, I need to do this with them or that with them, or I'm just too busy. Kids, too busy. I get it. Like, I get it. It's hard, but I can tell you right now that if you set that example for your children, they will become your workout buddies, your advocates, your audience, your cheering squad. Like, truthfully, they won't be a burden. They will be doing it with you, and you'll be setting a good, healthy lifestyle example for your children. My children see me hit the DVD. We don't watch TV really, but they'll see me like hit the DVD player, and they're like, "Oh, it's time to work out!" And they'll like go with the yoga mats, and they get the weights, and they bring all the weights out and the yoga mats, and then they sit there and they do it with me. I mean, Drake, they have their own stuff. Deacon's had his own thing since Drake was he 6 months old? It was Deacon's 3rd birthday that he got his own set of weights and his yoga mat, because he wanted to, do it with me, and he still does. He still has his yoga mat, and he still does yoga with me, and he still works out with me, and they see me do it, and they know. I mean, yeah, it can be difficult at times. I won't lie. I won't say like, oh, it's perfect. Like they work out and they do all the extra. It can be hard when you are in like downward dog and you've got baby in downward dog right below you. You've got like a shadow, and I have it on one of my Facebook pages, and I'm in my warrior positions, and Drake's like, leaning against me, and like sometimes it's not always the easiest things, but it's just Okay, I'm completely off topic here. But the point I'm trying to make is that we as their parents have to set those good examples and show that we're not picky, be willing to try new things. I struggle with this actually, to be completely honest with you, in respects to meat, because if you know me, then you know that I don't eat beef or pork. No, it's nothing for like any specific reason. I just, since 3rd grade, I have not had it. I have no interest in it. I never liked it, just never. So, and now there's other reasons where I'm like, oh yeah, well that's another reason too, and things like that, but my kids eat it and things, whatever. So anyhow, I have to, it's a very fine line, because I want to let them make their own choices. If they don't like tomatoes right now, you know what, that's fine. I didn't like red raw onions for a really long time, and now I do. So it's like, your taste kind of develop and change, but it's hard for me to say, oh, I don't eat that, or I don't like that. And then for me to encourage them not to say that. It's a hard one. It's a really hard one. That's one that I actually struggle with. And, I tell the boys, I'm like, you can eat whatever you'd like. This is just something that I don't really enjoy eating, but I eat this as an alternative. It's kind of like, you don't like romaine, so have some spinach type of a thing. Just balance. Balance is key. Moderation is key. And this is coming from a very imperfect person. Somebody who does enjoy pizza. Had it for dinner tonight. It was for my son's birthday party. Oh my gosh, my camera flat. I've talked for 11 minutes. It's something I'm very passionate about. But that I don't always eat perfect, and I don't want you guys to think that I do, because I don't. I had cake twice this last week for my son's birthday. That's why you just got to be good most of the time, and then the rest of the time you can have popcorn at the movie theater, or you can have, gosh, you should see the way I eat when I backpack. It's not pretty. You know what I mean? Like things like that. So it's just kind of one of those things where you really have to lead by example, set a good example, and run with it. I don't even know if I answered all the questions, but that's how, honestly, the reason my kids eat so well is they're not given a choice. And if they don't want to eat that, then, that's what's for dinner. If they don't eat it, they can eat it later. Sometimes I'll save it, sometimes depending on what it is and the time of it and things like that. I either say that's it, that's all you have tonight. The next meal you eat is going to be breakfast, or, I'll kind of hold on to it, especially if I'm being lazy with dishes, then it's just, I hold on to it by default. And if they're like, I'm hungry or I want a snack, it's like, oh, well, here, finish your dinner and then we can talk. So, I also don't push them to eat if they tell me that, I'm just not hungry, or if they say things like, oh, I'm full after eating like 4 bites of something. I take their word for it. I grew up in a generation, I'm sure a lot of people did, where it was a clear your plate, you need to clear your plate. And I still follow that a lot of the time. And I'm not wasteful of food, but it's something that I think it's important to let your body actually tell you, hey, I'm full, I don't need to eat. And there's days where my kids eat pretty much nonstop all day. And then there's days where my kids eat like 2 bites. And I admire them for being able to listen to their body and know when they're full or when they're actually hungry and things like that. Okay, let's see here. Okay, how do you get your recipes? Completely. Oh, let me talk for 13 minutes on one topic. How do you get your recipes? Honestly, I just kind of throw stuff together. It's kind of like, what do I got? And I just go off the basics. Like, lately we've been eating meatloaf once a week. Like turkey meatloaf. And rice and broccoli. That's been like a standard dinner this last few months. I don't know, like, how do I? My parents aren't big recipe people. It's more of like just, hey, what do you got in the fridge? Let's make something from it. So I would say probably 95 to 98% of my recipes are just whatever, just spur of the moment, let's make it up as we go. I don't know why I can do that. I'm not good at sauces. I can tell you that much. I'm not that good at sauces, unless it's like a marinara, like a tomato-based sauce or cream-based sauce or a roux-based sauce, but I'm just not that good at sauces. But I can bake without recipes and things like that, and I don't know where or how I learned that, but I just did. And when I try to make stuff from a recipe, like if I see like the only time I ever find recipes in like magazines or things are like when I'm waiting to get my oil changed and I'll see recipes and I'm like, oh, it looks so good. And then I'll make it and it just doesn't ever taste good. So I don't know. And then let's see, how do you figure out what to cook each day and to buy in your groceries? As far as like what to cook each day and buy my groceries and things like that, I ask the kids and we throw it off, you know, we bounce it off of each other, and it kind of just depends on our mood. I used to be a big meal planner, and now I just suck at it. And it's something I need to get back into. I mean, truly, I think about it all the time. I'm like, oh, I need a meal plan again. But now I like buy the things. They help me a lot grocery shopping. We buy the things that look good. We buy the staples, and then we just kind of go from there. So, I don't know. It's another one of those things where you just kind of like, yeah, you get into it, you get out of it. You get into it, you get out of it. So, I don't know if this helped or anything like that. Again, none of it's like to be offensive. It's just what I've done. Some of the things that I practice, because truly, like if my kids don't eat their dinner, that's what was for dinner. So like you eat it or you don't eat it, but it was available to you. You need to fill your belly with what's available to you. I mean, eventually they're going to be hungry enough to eat it. So if you decide, if you have a child who only eats chicken nuggets, because I've heard this before, my child will only eat chicken nuggets. Take the chicken nuggets out of your house. Stop buying them. Tell the kid that they're gone. They are no longer an option in our household. You know, I don't necessarily think it's a good idea to say, hey, the store doesn't sell them anymore, but, you know, come up with something and be like, hey, this is going to be our alternative, and bake some chicken. If you have to, throw some, you know, an egg wash and some panko with a little salt and Parmesan on it and bake it. And, you know, cut all those extra ingredients. I mean, that's an option. You know what I mean? So it's like, in time, they're going to eat that because that's what they want and they're hungry for that. And then save those chicken nuggets for when you go out, you know, say once a week or once a month, and let them have them out and have them be a treat and things like that. So, that's another thing. I'm just trying to think of what else. I sound like an evil mother. My ex-husband sets a timer for the kids, and they have to eat within an allotted time because they don't like them sitting at the table and goofing off forever. I don't necessarily hate that rule. I think it's a good idea. Like, if you're at the table, you need to eat. Obviously, enjoy your meal, but don't dilly-dally. My kids are notorious for dilly-dallying, and even, oh my gosh, or just like eating dinner, everything's great. Oh, look, a bug. And just like get out from the table. It's like, bring it back over here. Again, no perfection, so don't feel judged or don't feel like I'm being mean, because I'm not. I'm just telling you what I do. So, all right, that's it. I've talked for 17 minutes. Oh my gosh, it's so late. I'll talk to you guys later.